who knows what self-doubt is, right? So I looked up the definition just to confirm that what I think it is what it's purported to be. Self-doubt is defined as the lack of confidence in oneself and one's abilities. So think about that. I'll read it again. Self-doubt is the lack of confidence in oneself and one's abilities. Is that something that you think applies to one person, 2 people, 3 people, 100 people in this world? I beg to think it applies to everyone, right? I think at one moment or another, most people doubt themselves or their abilities, right? Yourself or your abilities. And so what would that mean? If everyone's doing it, it's a very common behavior, but does it make it a right behavior? No, right? Because there's plenty of people who do something and a lot of people do it, but doesn't mean it's right, right? So this is definitely something that we can undress our minds of on a journey, right? It's not something that's going to happen this minute, but if we go through and talk about why this is happening, what are things that we can do to change the behavior and create a plan for yourself, that's how you really undress your mind of it. So what are common causes of self-doubt? If you go to rightchangegrow.com, I'll repeat that, rightchangegrow.com. There's actually a great article that has like 13 reasons, common reasons for self-doubt. And today I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'll just go through some of them. So the first one is not having the required skills. That seems easy, right? Because if you're in a job and maybe your boss or the company you're at is expecting you to kind of take on new roles and or new tasks as a part of your employment, you might doubt yourself, right? Because you might say, well, you know, oh, wow, now I'm managing the Facebook page. If you just got onto Facebook like a month ago, maybe you might doubt, you know, your ability to kind of manage that, right? But at the end of the day, no one is born seasoned. So everyone has to learn. Some people are further along in the process than others, but everyone is having to learn something, right? So that's a common thing. Second, don't have the experience. So maybe you are applying for a job, you're applying for an opportunity, but you don't necessarily meet the requirements for what they're looking for. You might doubt yourself, but as you may have seen, there's been a lot of content about kind of feminism and the social media narrative. And it's sadly reported that women, more likely than not, I think might be around 70%, if we don't like match the entire job description, we don't even apply for something. And that's a scary notion because, again, I don't know if our male counterparts are really doing that, right? And I think the level of confidence that we bring to an opportunity or an application is totally within us. That's under our control. That's under our purview. So just because you don't have all the experience doesn't mean what? That you can't gain it at some point. So remember that. Past mistakes. That's a good one, right? Because it's easy to doubt yourself because if you know you've done something and you've quote unquote messed up, if you follow along with some of the content that I've put out on facebook.com/dr8fashion, that's the Dress Your Mate Facebook page, you know that I purport to not even believing in really mistakes or failures. They're all teachable lessons, teachable moments in our life. But say you did something and you quote unquote made a mistake, right? That's easy then for you to then say, oh, well, I don't want to do this again. Or if you're tasked to having to do something again, you might doubt yourself, right? So that seems very logical. Past experience. Similar to past mistakes. If you have similar experience speaking to someone or doing a specific activity and it hasn't turned out in a teachable moment that you like that outcome, then yeah, then you might doubt yourself if you're put into that similar circumstance where you're like, well, this happened last year. Why is this not going to happen again? Again, the past is not a predictor for the future. It's, I think, a good opportunity for you to assess and look at what happened, but you can't always say because X happened, it will always happen in the future, right? I think people do that deduction too many times and it prevents them from actually engaging in opportunities that can transform their lives. So you want to be mindful about that. Ooh, this one I really like. Some other voice in our head. So what does that mean? I think that's like the, so there are different things that come to mind. You can kind of, if everyone remembers kind of the angel and the devil little scenarios that we used to see like in cartoons, like the good voice telling us to do good and do this, and then the bad voice being like, screw it, don't do it, right? Like that scenario, it comes to mind, right? So kind of thinking about that, but then also I think this is probably more speaking to the parent, right? Or that partner or that quote unquote friend or that frenemy, people who've told you girl, you can't do this, girl, you da da da, all that negative, naysaying, critical voice in your head. If anyone's a fan of Jane the Virgin, I love that show immensely. But one of the reasons I do is because it shows Jane and kind of what she's thinking, and she has that inner critical voice who's like, chick, I wish you would, or you think you can write, try again. And it's like, hey now, why are we beating up ourselves, right? And that presentation on that show is like, for me, I can't imagine how many other people totally agree that they have this like inner voice who's like, maybe she has glasses, maybe she's sassy, and maybe she's preventing you from doing what you really need to do. Cut the nonsense, right? We gotta shush that inner voice. This is a good one. Fear of not being good enough. If you have ever felt this way, I'd love a like, a heart, all of that good stuff. Fear of not being good enough. I think the key to that is that we live in a world with a lot of really talented people, a lot of really accomplished people. And for some people, it's totally inspiring. You read their story and you're like, oh my God, I love you. You're so amazing. And then for other people, maybe they love them, but then that love then turns into this scenario of, well, if she did it, I can't do this. I didn't grow up this way. I can't, quote, all these kind of rationalizations. I always say that people can rationalize anything. You can talk yourself into anything, right? You can say, oh my God, I didn't have da-da-da-da, right? Despite knowing that there are so many people who have less than you, that accomplish more than you, you're here, sitting here talking to yourself about how you can't do X. Doesn't make any sense. So fear of not being good enough, that's that comparison game, I think, of like, you see other people doing it, so you assume that you can't. And it's a wrong assumption, and we all know what assumptions are, right? It makes an ass out of you, so don't do it. This is a good one. Limiting self-belief. So this is kind of, I think, what the author of this article, again, this is from writechangegrow.com. Limiting self-beliefs is essentially, I think, speaking to the idea of you have predetermined what you're capable of doing in this world, right? So you're like, okay, well, I can have a job, right? Maybe I, have a relationship, whatever. Maybe you want to have kids. Maybe you want to be a homeowner, right? You kind of create these categories of where you feel like your life is going or what you intend for your life. And then you also declare to yourself in your mind, and sadly out loud, a lot of times people do, of what you can't do. Oh, I can't travel. Oh, no, I can't have more than one car. Oh, no, I can't be a public personality. Oh, no, I can't do public speaking. Oh, no, I can't work out. Oh, no, I can't change my hair color. Oh, no, I can't be her friend. Right? Like, this whole list of like all these things that, oh, no, you can't do. Why? Why are we taking ourselves out of the game, right? The game is open to everyone. And here we are, we're just like kind of excusing ourselves, and we're like, you go. No, I can't. And it's so sad. And it's like a self-inflicted wound. For me, when I hear people say, oh, I can't do X, to me, that's the equivalent of like taking a knife and stabbing it on any part of your body. Because it's a self-inflicted wound. It's a self-infliction that you're essentially purporting to the universe and those around you and yourself what you can't do. Why would you do that? Why would you declare things that you can't do? To me, it seems very illogical, and it seems very painful, because before even trying something, if you've already taken yourself out of the game, do you really know what that would have done for your life, what that would have done for you personally, emotionally, professionally? Stop telling yourself you can't do stuff, right? And then the last one I thought that was really, really helpful is that she says, or the author rather says, on writechangegrow.com, common causes for self-doubt is habit. People are creatures of habit. I want you to remember that. If you do not take anything else from today, remember that we are creatures of habit, if you don't already know this. Why is this important? It's important because when we keep doing something, whether it's good or bad for us, it becomes a habit. And if something's a habit, it's a lot harder to break, right? You have to do something for like 30 plus days before you can like technically really break yourself out of that habit. So if you continue to doubt yourself on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, all of that good stuff, what does that mean? Then you're going to get accustomed to doing it. And then that is what's going to set the tone for the type of life you live. So we have to be mindful of the habits we live. If we want to undress our mind of things like self-doubt, habits are a part of that, and in the sense that we have to break them. So now this is the good stuff, guys. I hope you're ready. And again, I love talking, clearly a peacock in life, but I also want you to talk to me. I want you to share your thoughts, and if you agree with me, cool. Give me a heart, give me a like, all of that good stuff. If you disagree, I'm totally up for having debates and conversations about things. That's the only way that you can grow and stretch your understanding and capability of something. So please, if you disagree, agree, tell me, let your girl know. And if you want to email me separately, natasha@dressingroom8.com. All right. And then of course on the website, dressingroom8.com is how you can get all my contact information. So this is the part where you're going to get all the gems. I have 8 gems to give you. I hope you're ready to go digging for this. Okay, 8 ways to stop self-doubt. This is how we undress our mind of self-doubt. Number 1, stop trying to be perfect. If you understand the notion that perfection is a fiction, I love that phrase, but it's more than a phrase. It's an application that you have to put into your life. Perfection is a fiction. Why would you be chasing after fictional stories, books, characters, right? You wouldn't be. You have to live your reality. That's how you get to be successful in life, not just kind of living in la la land, right? We've got to live in this world and create the world that we want for ourselves. And perfection is not something that you're striving for because you can't. It doesn't exist. So why is this important? It's easier to not doubt yourself if you don't put a standard of perfection that you're trying to live up to. That's why. If you can just say, hey, I'm going to do X, and I'm going to, try my best, right? Use your research, do your homework to try to execute whatever X is for you, whether it's in your job, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's your spiritual journey, whether it's your health and fitness and wellness journey, whatever, fill in the blank, as you know I love to say, whatever it is, you have to stop putting a standard of perfection attached to whatever the task or the accomplishment you're looking to achieve. That way, you can't doubt whether you can achieve this level of perfection if it doesn't exist. So stop chasing after perfection. Second, I don't normally curse on my live streams, but I wanted to say something, and I hope you all receive it well. And if it offends you, please let me know. The second tip of how to stop self-doubt, how to undress your mind of self-doubt, is to accept the fuck-ups, okay? Accept that a quote-unquote mistake, accept that an issue may arise, accept that there's going to be an opportunity to fall, and maybe fall a couple of times. If you can accept these fuck-ups, and again, I say it with love and endearing. I'm not here to break hearts or anything like that. But ultimately, if you accept this, right, then it's a lot easier to stop doubting yourself along the journey of whatever you're trying to achieve. Again, career, personal, spiritual, life, health, wellness, any of the category that you're in right now. If you accept that you might mess up, that you might fuck up, then you will stop saying, oh my gosh, will I fuck up? If you accept it, then it's an option that can happen, but it's not a derailment, right? A lot of people take failure, quote unquote mistakes, and they make it a derailment. They say, oh, if this happens, I can't go forward. Why? Do you think there's anyone out here living completely 100% in alignment in exactly what they thought they were going to do, exactly what they thought they were going to say? Hells no. People fuck up. People mess up, right? Okay. So that was the harsh language. I hope it didn't hurt your ears, but I do actually love to curse. Just personal side note. It's a part of who I am. So that's number 2. Number 3rd gem. Please stop using your past as an excuse. I personally am guilty of this, and for me to undress my mind of self-doubt in my current life, in my past life, that's a part of it. You know, it's so easy to be like, well, I didn't receive this growing up, so this means that I'm quote unquote not capable of doing XYZ. Does that compute? Does that make any sense to you? No. Your past is your past. How can you be living in your past when you need to be in your present and working towards your future? Why are you going in the wrong direction? If you think of life as a continuum and as a line, right? The past is behind you. You're currently in the present, and the future is ahead of you. Why are you declaring something that's beyond you, that's already past, is affecting the forward? That does not make any sense. Continue in line, keep moving forward. So stop declaring your past as an opportunity to say why the future cannot offer prosperity for you. It is not helpful, and it's just an excuse, and an excuse is an excuse. Right now, if you need to rationalize that for yourself because you don't want to feel like you're quote unquote failing, fine, that's what you are doing, and that's an intentional thing that you're doing, but it's not a valid justification. If you want to do something, you've got to get up and try. You've got to get the resources and do it. Using your past is not going to be afford you the opportunity to get out of this. Be like, oh, well, you know, because this didn't happen, you know, I can't be expected to do this. No, it's not going to cut it, guys. So hopefully that also did not offend you. But at the end of the day, too many people do it on a daily basis. Cut the bullshit. That's like kind of where I'm at with that. Number 4. Learn more. This is a simple one, right? Because in life, people will say, oh, no, you have to have X amount of years of experience. You need to do da-da-da. At the end of the day, everyone has to learn. You have to learn your craft. You have to learn business. You have to learn people. You have to learn culture. You have to learn everything, right? That's what life is. You come into this earth and you don't know everything. You're taught. You learn how to walk. You learn how to talk. You learn how to feed yourself, how to care for yourself, how to love people, how to love yourself. Everything is a learning game. That's what this whole journey of life is about, right? So if you are questioning how to figure out how to stop doubting yourself, the key would be to learn more, right? The more you learn about yourself, the more you know how to avoid certain decisions that are not going to make you feel good. The more that you know and learn about your business, the better that you can succeed, the more money that you can bring in, the better contacts, the better servicing, ... The more that you learn about community, maybe it's the more that you can connect better with community, effectuate community change, right? Learn more. It's real simple. It's not the end of the world. And some people feel, oh, Tasha, I don't have time. I don't have time. We all have 24 hours, baby. Every single one of us. If you're living on this earth, you have 24 hours, 7 days a week. Figure it out. If it's something that's important to you, prioritize it, right? It might mean that you have to miss a TV show. It might mean that you can't do XYZ. But if you said this is important, if you said you need this, then get her done. Get her done. That's it. Okay? So for those just tuning in as well, just to rehash as we wind down on our Undress Your Mind series of undressing your mind of self-doubt, the number one way to stop it is to stop chasing after perfection. Perfection is a fiction. Second, accept the fuck-ups. Accept that mistakes, quote-unquote, mess-ups, all that shit is happening. Because it's a part of the journey. It's how you learn. You cannot move forward without falling. You've got to accept that this is going to happen. And I'm this was a hard concept for me because I'm a Virgo. I'm A-type personality, right? I love the idea of always trying to do something exactly how it needs to be. Once you take the standard that this perfection doesn't exist, then you focus on the process, you focus on understanding how to be better at your craft, but you're not comparing yourself to this standard that doesn't exist. That way you can just work and continually get better at something, but you're not going to shame yourself if you put out something and it's not exactly what you thought it would be. Okay, whatever, like keep it moving. Enough of the self-hatred and the shame game. It's not a good game to play. Number 3 was stop using the past as an excuse. It's an excuse. Get over it. Number 4, learn more. So now the next 4 items as to how to undress your mind of self-doubt would be: number 5, start the day with an affirmation and purposely consume positivity in the day. This is really easy, guys, because there are affirmations that you can find, but guess what? You can make your own affirmations. On dressingroommate.com, I have a post about mantras that I like to start the day off with. Mantras, affirmations, same difference. Start the day off with a declaration to yourself about something that you want it to be about. So for me, I like to affirm my abilities. I like to affirm my power. I like to affirm my strength, because I find that in life you get challenges that attack your strength, that attack your capabilities, right? So you have to, for me, I find that affirmation of that just helps me bolster whatever quote unquote attack is coming my way. Some people, they want to affirm beauty. Some people, they want to affirm sensitivity. Maybe they want to affirm like spiritual growth. Whatever you are looking to affirm in the day, and you might change. Maybe the beginning of the day, you want to affirm that you're a badass. And then maybe at work, you're really struggling. You're having difficulty with a coworker or something. You want to have compassion, right? Affirm compassion in your life. Affirm that you can handle the challenging people that you may interact with at your job, at whatever work environment you're at. So different things, but just make sure you start the day with an affirmation. You continue to consume content that is positive and empowering, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through Instagram, whether it's through Twitter, whether it's articles, whether it's a magazine, whether it's the Bible, whatever positive resources that you like to use. And I might, actually, since talking about that, I might put out a post about kind of, sources of just positivity that you can't get enough of. All right. I'll put that in the back of my head, something to put out for you guys. Number 6, stop caring what other people are doing. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I say this, which is funny, right? Because you're here on a live stream watching me, right? Like, so you're like, Tasha, are you confused, Boom Boom? No, I am not. Why do I say this? So now we're having a conversation, and I'm trying to give you content and information that can help you, essentially just like rock your life faster, more efficiently, productively, right? Because you're undressing your mind of self-doubt. Now, you can take this knowledge and you can think about it, you can apply it, you can mull over it, or you can say F off with it, right? Whatever you want to do. That's the beauty of life. It's you decide what you want to do. But what I'm saying is more to the fact of, you go on Instagram, you start your day, and really you should start your day with a gratitude list, and then, an affirmation, and then maybe get into something you want to do before we get into the social media checking, which it's a bad habit. I've adapted that habit. It's something that I have to work on as well. But if you are in the midst of that habit and you wake up and the first thing you do is you're on your phone and you're on that Instagram feed and you're scrolling and you're like, oh my God, she's in Venice. I've never been, all this stuff of all the things that you want to do, or, maybe you're having an issue with body image and you're, kind of seeing images that are not making you feel good about yourself, whatever. Stop caring. Pull it, if you have to stop following someone, if you have to block someone, if you have to change the type of content you're absorbing, stop caring, because it's not helping you. It's only helping to have you doubt yourself. And that is pointless. So stop it. Number 7, document your journey on this. When you're undressing your mind of self-doubt, what I mean by that is, if you're a blogger, write about it. Write about a moment of vulnerability, right? And then go back 3 months from then, 6 months from then, right? Where are you at with that journey, right? Documenting what you're doing, what you're writing, what you're feeling. And maybe you're not a public person. Maybe you're just living your life and you have thoughts, right? And all that. Put it in a journal, write a post-it note, document things, because it's a good way for you to see, well, 3 months from now, today I felt crappy. 3 months from now, I felt a lot better. Why? What were things that you were doing that made you feel better, right? Document what your journey in life. And then lastly, decide to be your number one cheerleader. Now, I say this because as a coach, I coach women creatives, I coach women business owners, I coach men as well, actually. And, but primarily my focus is on the woman empowerment in her business and her personal life, right? And, ultimately, as a coach, I kind of describe myself as the cheerleader and the drill sergeant for what we're working on together. But who's going to always be your number one cheerleader? You. Why? It's your life, baby. No one is going to fight more for you than you. Because it won't ever resonate as enough to someone else, because it's not their journey. It's not their life. So Decide to be your number one cheerleader and act accordingly, okay? Act it in how you speak to yourself, right? No self-deprecating humor, no self-attacks. Act as your number one cheerleader when you speak to others and you describe yourself and you present yourself and you're at work, right? Act like you are the number one cheerleader for you, that you are in your corner and you are relentless to be happy, to be prosperous, to feel fulfilled in this world. Do that and the self-doubt crumbles. It's really awesome. Okay, so that was a lot. So just to wind down and things to remember with undressing your mind of self-doubt. First, self-doubt does not get you closer to your goals, right? If we're focusing on, oh, everyone's busy, I have limited time, cool. Well, guess what? Self-doubt is wasting your time. So it's real simple. If you are dedicated to having more time in your life and using time appropriately, cut it out. Number 2, like I mentioned this before, right? Self-doubt is a habit. Habits are what? Harder to break. So the more that you continue to do this, the harder you make the journey. What does that realistically mean? It's kind of like if we're walking up a hill, every time that you continue to self-doubt, you're making that hill go higher and higher. That hill will become what? It will become a mountain at a certain point. Stop making life harder for yourself. Living easily is not something to be ashamed of, right? It's not doing nothing. You're essentially living, but you're cutting out the extra garbage and baggage that's holding you down. It's kind of like, also you can think of self-doubt as adding a pound around your neck. Every time you do it, you're adding a pound around your neck. At a certain point, you will fall. At a certain point, you cannot get up, right? Cut the baggage, release yourself, undress your mind of this. Number 3, just because a lot of people do it around you, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe your friends, maybe your boyfriend, maybe your girlfriend, maybe your partner, whatever, just because everyone around you is doing something, I said this earlier, doesn't make it right, right? That whole, I love this phrase that my parents used to say to me, right? Which is, well, if everyone jumps off a bridge, are you gonna do it, right? That kind of, okay, mommy, daddy, like you guys are a little intense right now. No, right? You would save yourself, right? So I urge you, I plead with you, save yourself. Undress your mind of self-doubt by refusing to join the crowd. If everyone wants to do that, good for them. That is their journey. You control your journey. Don't do it if everyone is just doing something. Ultimately, decide if this works for you, decide if this is appropriate for you, and then decide to do it. And obviously, no one's going to be like, I'm signing up for self-doubt, guys. I think this is going to be amazing. No, like, no. Just no. Okay. Also, remember, self-doubt is energy draining. Who has, the word, you might feel sometimes like Superwoman, but sometimes you might not, right? And if you're looking to not have energy literally leak out of you and go into the ether of life, then this is one way to stop it, right? Cut off the leak. Stop the self-doubt. Next thing to remember, this is voluntary, guys. No one is mandatorily saying, oh, you over there. Okay, you have to do self-doubt. You over there, you have to be, sadistic. This is not a mandatory declaration upon you. This is a voluntary behavior. This is a voluntary activity. So if you easily could choose to self-doubt yourself, you could also what? Choose not to. Make the right choice. And then next is, this is a journey. And I say this because I think a lot of times people will start working on something, myself included, right? And maybe you falter. Maybe, you're good, today and you're not good tomorrow. Don't just give up, right? If you fall, pick yourself up. Say, okay, I got this. All right, so we are at that time. I shared a lot of information. If you feel like you want me to go over certain parts again, feel free. If you want to watch this again, I always put my live streams onto the YouTube channel because I think that, hey, there's some people who are, I don't understand the concept, right? Mark Zuckerberg, I'm right there with you, baby. Some people are like, nope, I'm not on Facebook. Okay, well, maybe you're on YouTube. You'll be able to catch us on the YouTube channel, on dressingroom8.com. You see all my social media handles. You'll see snippets on Instagram. You'll see this obviously on the Facebook page as well as on YouTube. And best way to get in contact with me, email Natasha@dressingroom8.com. Website, dressingroom8.com, and the Instagram handle is dressing_room_8. Okay, so I really appreciate everyone who took the time to join me in this moment. It's always a privilege and honor to speak with you. I will be back this evening to do my review for Calio Fragrance as a brand ambassador. So stay tuned for that. And you, of course, will be able to see that on YouTube as well and all the social media handles. So just follow along, and if you haven't subscribed, I send out monthly newsletters. Definitely go to dressingroom8.com, sign up, and you'll be able to stay in touch and get all the updates for what I'm doing. All right. Hugs and kisses. Have a wonderful Memorial weekend, and I will be back on here later this evening. All right. Enjoy your lunch, guys. Bye.